Hola, this is another Spanish grammar lesson. Today we are talking about the verbs ser and estar, which both mean to be. This is one of the more confusing concepts for many English speakers trying to learn Spanish. Every once in a while, you come across an English verb that translates into two different Spanish verbs. To be is one of these verbs. For example, when I say I am a boy or I am happy, in English both sentences are using I am, the same verb. But in Spanish, we have yo soy un chico and yo estoy contento. In Spanish, we have to choose between two, ser and estar. We have used these verbs before with sentences like de donde eres, where are you from, and soy de Chicago, I am from Chicago. So this question and answer both use the same verb, ser. We also have ¿Cómo estás? How are you? Estoy bien. I am well. This question and answer both use estar. So what if we wanted to say something like, my friend is intelligent? How do we decide which verb to use? Well, if you bust out a Spanish grammar book, they're going to give you several pages full of rules about when to use each one. But there's an easier way. Just think to yourself, is this sentence talking about a long-term situation or a short-term situation? Or another way to look at it is, next week, is this sentence more likely to remain true or to change? So, going back to my friend is intelligent. Next week, my friend is probably still going to be intelligent. So this is a long-term description. I'm going to use ser. So I should say, mi amigo es inteligente. So I am tired. Next week, am I going to be tired? I have no idea. This is very likely to change. So I'm going to use estar, and I'm going to say, estoy cansado. The students are bored. Next week, are my students still going to be bored? Well, it's possible, I guess, but I can't be certain. Maybe I'm doing a really fun activity with them. So I'm going to use estar because it could change. So I'm going to say, los alumnos están aburridos. The dog is big. Is the dog going to be big next week? This is highly likely. So I'm going to use ser. El perro es grande. This class is difficult. Well, is this class going to be difficult next week? Probably. If I have a challenging class, it's probably not going to get much easier for me. So I'm going to use ser, because this is probably a long-term situation for me. Esta clase es difícil. We are in school now. So right now I'm in school, but the bell's going to ring in just a little while and I'm going to go home. So this is definitely going to change. Even if you look at it in a long-term situation, I'm in school right now, but eventually, the school year is going to be over, right? So it's definitely a temporary situation. So I'm going to use estar. Estamos en la escuela ahora. So here's a few more. The movie is very sad, and I am sad. So they're both talking about sadness, but in different ways. The movie is very sad, but this movie isn't ever going to stop being sad, right? It's a sad movie. It's always going to be a sad movie. So I'm going to use ser. La película es muy triste. I am sad right now, but soon I won't be. So that's definitely temporary. Estoy triste. Soup is delicious, and this soup is delicious. So with the first one, I'm talking in general about soup. I love soup, all soup. Soup is great. It's delicious. So I'm going to use ser because this is a long-term thing. I love soup. So I'm going to say la sopa es deliciosa. But with the second one, I'm talking about this particular bowl of soup. It's delicious. Maybe not all soup is delicious. So this is actually just kind of a short-term thing, just this bowl. Esta sopa está deliciosa. This is a boring class. Well, chances are I don't really like this class and it's boring, so that's probably not going to change next week. So I'm going to use ser. Esta es una clase aburrida. the students are bored. Well, right now they're bored, but maybe the next class is their favorite class. They're not going to be bored anymore. So this is probably going to change. Los alumnos están aburridos. Okay, let's practice a little bit more. See if you can figure out how to say the following sentences. Think to yourself, is this a long-term situation or a short-term situation? The climate is crazy in Texas. This uses ser because we're talking about long-term climate situations. So the answer is La clima es loca en Texas. My friends are interesting. My friends are interesting people. This is probably not going to change. So mis amigos son interesantes. I am sick. Eventually, I will get better. So I'm going to use estar for a temporary situation. Estoy enfermo. We are not lazy people. I'm describing what we are not. So this is a character trait that chances are won't change anytime soon. So I'm going to use ser with this one. No somos personas perezosas. Are they happy today? Well, I'm asking about how they're feeling today. So obviously that's pretty short term. So estar. ¿Están contentos hoy? And finally, the weather is fantastic today. I'm talking about the weather today, very short term. So we're going to use estar with this one. El tiempo está fantástico hoy. Okay, so that's ser and estar, the verbs to be in Spanish. Just remember, ask yourself, is it permanent? Use ser. Is it temporary? Use estar.